On the field, in the gym, or on the ice, there have always been standards for athletes to follow. These standards range from what type of athletic equipment is not only necessary, but appropriate, to who can play when, where, and how. This last standard is the one that is being challenged the most. In society today, women are unable to compete alongside men in professional sports. Is that fair? Many organizations do not look at women as a source of talent in today's sports. Just as males dream to play in the majors, young female athletes have dreams too. Many organizations do not recognize that females are capable of playing on the same level as a male. There is no reason that any woman should be turned down from engaging in a sport they have a talent in. By looking at how sports were separated by gender, at statistics of women being involved in sports, at how women are capable of playing men's sports, and how women should be able to play their favorite sport, one will realize the importance of allowing women to compete with men in professional sports. In 1972, men and women stood up for themselves. Prior to this time, females were not allowed to participate in traditional male sports. People took a stand, and the federal government created a federal law called Title IX. This gave opportunities to women who wanted to play in professional sports. In the article, Myth-Busting, What Every Female Athlete Should Know, published by Women's Sport Foundation in 2011, the Women's Sport Foundation staff stated, Title IX is a federal law that requires high schools and colleges that receive federal funds not to discriminate on the basis of gender. This article also states that the percentage of women in an athletic program has to match up to the percentage of females on campus. Athletic scholarships were virtually non-existent prior to Title IX. Now there are over 10,000 athletic scholarships awarded to women to compete at the collegiate level each year. Stated in the article, Athletic Scholarships, Title IX, and the Effects on College Athletic Programs. Football players are boys, not a third sex. Benefits afforded boys, whether they play football or basketball or golf, are benefits. The law says you can't just pick a sport in which boys play and girls do not and say it doesn't count. The Women's Sports Foundation staff also stated, by the way, more than 700 girls are playing high school football in the U.S., and they are not just kickers. They are quarterbacks, linebackers, and ends too. Females need to be treated equally with males on the playing field. By creating a federal law, you would think that women would be able to live out their dreams, but that still does not happen. In the article, Landmark Law Faces New Challenges Even Now, published by ESPN on June 22, 2002, Greg Garber wrote, in 1971, the year before Title IX became a law, fewer than 300,000 girls participated in high school sports, about 1 in 27. Today the number approaches 3 million, or approximately 1 in 2.5. The number of women participating in intercollegiate sports in that same span has gone from 30,000 to more than 150,000. In the last 20 years alone, the number of women's college teams has nearly doubled. In the article, Billie Jean King Wins the Battle of the Sexes 40 Years Ago, published by History.com on September 20, 2013, Jesse Greenspan wrote, on September 20, 1973, women's tennis star Billie Jean King faced off against Bobby Riggs in an exhibition match dubbed the Battle of the Sexes. The 55-year-old Riggs, a former Wimbledon champion, believed he could still beat any woman player, and after much prodding, King eventually took him up on the challenge. Riggs hyped the contest with a slew of sexist comments, including, the best way to handle women is to keep them pregnant and barefoot. Yet King ended up defeating him 6-4, 6-3, and 6-3 in front of more than 30,000 fans at the Houston Astrodome, the largest crowd ever to watch a tennis match then. King's victory, along with the passage of Title IX, is often credited with sparking a boom in women's sports. King took a stand against women's equality and achieved what she set out to do. The salaries for women and men in professional sports has a wide price range. For a WNBA player in the 2005 season, the minimum salary was $31,200. The maximum salary was $89,000, and the team salary cap was $673,000. For NBA players in the 2004-2005 season, the minimum salary was $385,277. The maximum salary was $15.3 million, and the team salary cap was $46 million, stated in the Women's Sports Foundation article. In the book, Gender Relations in Sports, written by Emily Robber, published by eBook in 2013, she wrote, in 1972, one administrator in the recreation department oversaw women's athletics at UCLA with a budget of $20,000. This budget covered 10 intercollegiate sports, included the administrator's salary and no paid coaches. Meanwhile, the men's athletic department sponsored 18 sports for 811 male athletes on a budget of $2.9 million. While the women received no scholarships, the men enjoyed $498,000 worth of support. The 31 full and part-time coaches earned $408,000 in comparison to the 10 part-time volunteer coaches for the women. With less pay, women are less likely to play for the money, but more likely to play for the love of the game. Traditionally, women are thought of as more fragile and less aggressive than men. With this in mind, it is clear the reason why it is so difficult for women to participate in male-dominated sports. The costs to a woman playing with a man in the ring or on the field are more numerous than simply getting laughed at and called names. Usually, to really see the extent to which women can take playing with the boys, the men will usually play their hardest, if not harder, in an attempt to push women to their limits and eventually make them quit. Also, since the woman is in a male-dominated sport, the chances that there are other females out there helping the cause are very small, which makes it even harder for her to be taken seriously. For men and women to participate in sports not traditionally dominated by their sex is probably a lot more difficult at first than would seem worth it. But in the end, it could be a major stepping stone in the world of athletics as well as the rest of society. The costs to both seem at first almost insurmountable, but once they have become versed in the way of sports, the benefits outrule it all, stated Meyer in her article. Women are capable of playing men's sports, and they need the opportunity to be able to play their favorite sport. Show equality through the sports industry. Go take the time to sit down and watch a co-ed softball game. Then you will realize the skills and talents the women have. One will not only notice the fact some women can play just as well as the men, if not better, but also how much talent and entertainment is going unnoticed. Women deserve every right to play alongside males, and if given the chance, people will not be disappointed.